It's spring, pollen is in the air, and the environment all around us is changing. And here in the Diocese of Little Rock, many Catholics recognize spring is the time when pastoral assignments change, and some pastors are moved from their parish to a new assignment.
But that happens once a year, where the bishop kind of contacts all the priests to see what the local situation is like, and whether or not he's open to a change, or whether or not he thinks it's best that there be a change. And because that happens every year, then there's kind of an evaluation every year. And so those main changes usually go into effect here in the spring.
Father Jeff Hebert is one of 7 priests, 1 deacon, and 1 laywoman who's been a clinical psychologist for over 30 years on the Diocesan Clergy Personnel Board, which helps the bishop discuss changes in pastoral assignments.
Typically what happens is he has an idea of where he would like to do the different pastoral changes, pastoral assignments, and then he brings it to the board. And so with all the other priests on the board, we kind of discuss those changes, because there might be some things that he may not be aware of that we might, and vice versa. And so through that dialogue, through the discussion of the different appointments, we try to arrive at a situation, or in the different assignments, where it's not just that everybody has a priest there to celebrate the sacraments, but it's a priest who would be a good fit for the particular community.
And arriving at that decision is often a lengthy and difficult process, with many, many things that have to be taken into consideration. But before anything is considered, there's usually an initial event like the death of a priest, or retirement, or even the introduction of a new class of seminarians that causes a domino effect of changes throughout the diocese.
And there's something that we talk about. The imagery we use is a domino effect. So when you find a guy who has to fill in for those roles, it means every man you move to go fill that vacancy creates another vacancy. And so it kind of creates a domino effect that these changes need to be made.
From an administrative standpoint, making such changes is often logical to help meet the needs of the church, which are ever-changing. But that's not to say that priests and parishioners don't have emotional repercussions as an effect of the moving.
I think whenever you hear a pastor move, it's hard to knock that selfish mindset out. It's not just about you kind of thing. To knock that selfish mindset out, I wish they would stay longer or whatever.
Gracie Weidman, who's a college student at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway, had recently heard that her campus pastor, Father Joe Friend, is being reassigned this spring.
Yeah, my heart cringed a little bit, honestly. Sarah told me before he announced it in Mass, so I had a little bit of a warning, but I wasn't expecting it. I was just talking to one of my friends before about I really hope he doesn't move before I finish college, a couple weeks before he announced it, and then he said it, so yeah.
Well, if they're sad that their pastor's leaving, that's actually a sign that something very good has happened, right? That pastor has given himself to the community, and the community in return has given themselves to his pastoral vision and his leadership. And that's what you want. You want that kind of bond of affection and love to happen in a community between the shepherd and the faithful. And so on the one hand, that shows that things are working. I don't know about working, but it's a sign of the fruit of the Spirit in that sense.
And many priests, just like Father Joe, have done a really good job of forming bonds with people. That's why it makes it harder. But with that aside, it's exciting to see what they're going to do with God's will in mind. So,
as a priest, you were trained to just pour ourselves out entirely, give everything, don't hold anything back. And it's difficult and sad to know that you're not going to be able to walk with people or the same people in the same way anymore.
And interestingly enough, before Father Joe Friend was at campus ministry in Conway, Father Jeff Hebert was assigned there. And so before I left from talking to him, I made sure to ask why some parishes see more frequent circulation in priests than others.
Sometimes when these younger guys are trained up and there's a big class of ordinations coming behind them, we kind of have to make space for them in some of these teaching parishes, you might say. That's the word I use. That's not an official title. So they get moved on to another parish so that one of the newly ordained priests can come in behind them to learn just like they did. Those are the main reasons why a lot of the pastoral changes happen.
And so, as spring brings new life outside, perhaps pastoral changes this spring can help foster new growth within the Catholic Church here in Arkansas. Reporting for Arkansas Catholic, I'm Colin Gallimore.